Holidays are just tough on single parents altogether for two reasons. Like, one, your kids could be dealing with the emotions of the absent parent or the co-parent or the parent that they lost not being there. And then the parent that is there, they're left to deal with those emotions alone. So it's just tough on everybody, you know? And then two, you want to make sure that your kids have the best Christmas. You want to make sure that they get everything on their Christmas list, you know, without going into debt, you know? So that means we're not Christmas shopping in October or November. We're Christmas shopping in January and we're putting things up, you know?
I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a
What's up? You are now listening to FY Fly the podcast, and I'm your host, Hassan Thomas, along with Remy, and we are here to share tools on how millennials can budget, save, invest, and understand student debt and credit to achieve financial freedom. If you're a high school student, college student, or someone who's interested in gaining more financial insight, this podcast is for you.
I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a
What's up, my FY Fly folks out there? How y'all doing? I hope y'all doing all right. Welcome to the FY Fly podcast. My name is Hassan Thomas, the kid that did and the man that can, baby.
Oh, okay.
And today, we're going to be chopping it up with veteran, certified financial educator, and the mommy money coach, Miss Anna Boo. Hey, I just made that up.
What an introduction. I love it.
How you doing? How are you, Anna?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to rock out with you, because really what we like to do here at FY Fly, we like to skip the fluff and get right into the good stuff. How that sound?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, bet. So the first thing I want to know is, were you always good with money, or was there like a turning point in your life where you were like, okay, now it's time to get right?
Yeah, no, I've always known what to do with money. However, I just didn't do it. I was hard-headed.
Come on. I appreciate the transparency, but why is that?
I just didn't do it. So I grew up watching my grandmother. She handled the household finances. She handled my grandfather's business finances. She was just really, really good with money. And I just watched her and mimic her. However, like when I got out on my own, I was just like, I got time for that. You know, I just didn't do it. But my turning point came when I was deployed. Okay, I was deployed for 6 months in Southeast Asia. And I was making the most money I had ever made in my life. It was giving very much put it in the bag.
Okay. You was having that big bag and you was putting it in the bag. Yeah.
Just throw it in the bag, you know? And then I didn't realize anything until I got home, you know, from the deployment, the dust settled. And I just happened to randomly look at my bank statement for the past, 2-4 months or whatever. And I was like, wow, I spent almost like $15,000 to $20,000 in that 6-month time span. And I was like, yeah, I think it may be time to get your ish together.
So I want to dive deeper into what you said. You knew what to do, but you didn't do it. And I feel like that's a lot of people. We know we should be saving money. We know we should be investing. We know we should be working out. We know we should be at the gym. We know these things. But for you specifically, why didn't you do it?
I feel like I just had time. Like, I had time. I was a young single mom. I feel like I had time. I'm like, I can clean that up later. I send something to collections on my credit report and be like, I'll dispute it later. I'll clean it up later. I'll pay them later. So it was just never a really big deal to me. And I know that sounds horrible as a financial educator.
It's honest. And it's a lot of people that feel the same way. So that's why I'm trying to get to the root. Okay. So boom, you felt like you would have time. Knowing what you know now, what would you do differently? What would you say to the younger you who felt like they had so much time? What would you say?
Oh, absolutely. I just straight up say, you don't have time, girlfriend.
So let's keep it straight, simple, straightforward. You ain't got that time.
Right. You don't have that type of time, And I would have, definitely learned more or explained more the power of compounding interest, to where the earlier you start saving, the earlier you start investing, the better it is for you in the long run. And I think that I knew a little bit about compound interest, but it really wasn't important to me at the time. And I just really feel like if I had somebody, that was like, hey, this is really what's going to help you out. Like, this is the key to single parent life is working less and earning more. Like, that is the
Gotcha.
key, you know? So yeah, I definitely would say something like that.
Okay, I like that, and I was trying to get that because I'm real big on like practical game. It has to be like information is cool, but I need people to leave here with something like, oh man, I relate with Anna. I'm the same way, and yes, I'm young, but think about it. If you're 18 now, think about how quick those years of you being 12, 13, 14, think about how quick those years flew by.
Right.
So
And
you 18 now, you're going to be 22 super
right.
quick.
Right,
So
right.
I kind of want to shift the conversation, really focus the conversation about holiday spending. The holidays are right around the corner. And for me growing up with the single mother, my mom always made sure to make it happen. And I know that takes incredible strength, incredible determination. So from your experience, talk about the emotions that you and other women feel trying to make sure their child has the best holiday while trying not to go broke in the process of doing that. Like, talk about how the feeling, the emotions behind that.
Absolutely. So if there's one thing a single mom can do is learn how to make something out of nothing. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, the holidays are just tough on single parents altogether for two reasons. Like one, your kids could be dealing with the emotions of the absent parent or the co-parent or the parent that they lost not being there. And then the parent that is there, they're left to deal with those emotions alone. So it's just tough on everybody, you know? And then two, you want to make sure that your kids have the best Christmas. You want to make sure that they get everything on their Christmas list, you know, without going into debt, you know? So that means we're not Christmas shopping in October or November. We're Christmas shopping in January and we're putting things up, you know? So that's one thing that has helped me as a single mom make sure that I was able to get everything that my kids want or to make sure that they had a really good Christmas is in February, March, if I see something on the clearance rack that I know that they're going to like, I snatch it up and put it up for December.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what other practical tips would you say have helped to making your holiday season for you, your children, a great one without really breaking the bank?
Yeah, absolutely. So the same, like I said, buying things all year round, shopping the clearance racks. I also use the Christmas savings charts. You can get them on Pinterest or anywhere. You can print them out, color them in, you know.
What is that? What does that look like? Describe that.
Yeah, sure. So like a savings challenge is basically you have see, how can I explain this? So it's like a little piece of paper. You might have like a Christmas tree on it and it has like $10, $20, all with a goal of maybe like $1,000 in 12 months or $1,200 in 12 months, you know, and it just breaks it up and every month has a certain amount that you contribute to it. You know, so, and as you're contributing, you're coloring in, you know, and you're seeing your progress along the way. So it doesn't feel like you're like saving in vain, you know? So another thing that I like to do is, like I said, thrift shopping. I am a big thrift shopper for stockings. Okay. You know, I'm big on, I don't pay full price for anything. Okay. I'm at the thrift store for the stocking stuffers. I'm getting books, novelties, you know, little trinkets that can just stuff that I already know that they're going to throw away anyway, you know, cause that's all the stocking stuffers are. It's little toys that they can probably just, you know, throw away. Yeah. So yeah, that's some things that I've done around Christmas time.
And sticking on the, you know, the Christmas and the holiday wave, how do you make sure that your children are like, how are you instilling the gratefulness, the gratitude? Because you want them to know, you know, mama made this happen.
Right.
But you also, you know, don't want them to feel guilty. You know what I mean? So like, how do you balance that? And how do you like install that gratitude in your child? Like, how have you done that personally?
Yeah, basically you just talk to them. You just let them know, you know, like, hey, like, yes, I was able to do this. However, this is not really what the holiday is about. The holiday is about being together with your family. You know, there's no need to feel guilty. You know, just as long as you're honest with your kids. Some Christmas, you may not have it. If you're like, hey, I don't have it this year, you know, so to this year, we're going to just, you know, we're going to go out to eat for Christmas. You know, we're going to go visit another family member. You know, you got to get creative just so that they know they're not missing anything. You know, like the gifts are nice, but that's not the reason for the season.
Come on. I like it. That you up here preaching on this. I love it. And And one thing that I definitely saw, from looking at your social media and things, I saw that you're a big proponent of having a side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the side hustles that you've tried? What do you recommend for others? Kind of talk to us about that.
Well, right now I'm in love with Etsy. Okay, I love me some Etsy. I've had an Etsy shop.
Give us the game.
Yeah, so I had an Etsy shop for about 2 years now. It's a vintage shop, and I like it because one, Etsy's customers already trust Etsy. So you don't have to put out a product and worry about building trust because the customers are already coming to Etsy because they trust Etsy, right? So for me, I can go to the thrift store and I can buy a mug, like a novelty mug, and then put it on Etsy and somebody is buying it, like vintage. Like vintage is very big, and that's what I have. I have a vintage store. So like, for example, I bought a mug from the 80s that had like a woman's empowerment statement on it. And you can tell by the way it was painted that it was from the 80s, okay? And that mug sold for about $35-$40. And I bought it for 50 cents.
Jeez, buying low and side. That's the way.
So the Etsy is very, very good for side hustles and extra money. It's like Etsy is how I'm funding my personal finance website right now. Because my other finance, my job covers my home finances, and then my side hustles, I feel like for me covers everything extra.
Got you. So for the mothers, for the parents out there in general who are looking to do a side hustle, how are you balancing that? How are you balancing a full-time job, a side hustle, a business, and your children, and your personal time? How in the world are you balancing all that?
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. Like, no, seriously, like you just have to make sure you're making time, live by a planner. If it's not on the calendar, it's not getting done. That's what I tell my clients.
I always say that. Oh my goodness.
Like if it's not on the calendar, it's not getting done, So, I have and then work, I'm able to have a really flexible job at the bank. So I work a split shift. And that's another thing a lot of people don't know. Like you can get accommodations at work to fit your schedule as a single mom, So
just from communicating and
just from communicating, So I work a split shift, 8 to 12, 5 to 9. So that leaves that middle of the day to do household things like cooking, cleaning, or whatever I have to do. And then I'm also able to go pick up the kids at 2, 3 o'clock,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's a balance, but you learn along the way, like what's important, what's not important, what to prioritize and what can be left for tomorrow.
Got you. I think that's very important as well. And even for a business owner, just prioritizing number one, income, revenue generating activities. So as a business owner, you have to prioritize those things that are going to bring in money, because for a business, that's what keeps the business running is money and funds. So I love how you said that, prioritizing the things that need to be done today and whatever can be done tomorrow. Let's put it on the calendar so it can get done tomorrow.
Or delegate. I love that we could delegate.
Okay.
When you have older kids, you can delegate to the older kids. My kids help me with my side hustles. They help me with my business. My son edits my video. My daughter takes my photos. like this is a family thing,
I love it. It sure is. My mom is actually the COO, the Chief Operations Officer of my company.
Wow.
So it definitely, and my dad, he's been an accountant for 20 years, made him the CFO. We're going to keep it in the family.
Keep it in the family.
And I love how you said that, you have your son editing, your daughter's taking a picture, so they're definitely contributing from a standpoint of their time and their willingness. And, me personally, I've always been the one to work. And, I had a job at 14. I worked at Kroger. And if you're not down south, that's a grocery store. And then I worked at JCPenney. So I always had money coming in where I didn't have to, always ask my mom for everything.
Right.
But what I want to know from you, at what point, if any, should a child start contributing monetarily to the household? What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, I know this is a big debate in the Black community because some people are just like, no, you can't, let them live with you and they can't pay bills. Like, how are they supposed to get ahead? Me personally, I just feel like any kid under the age of 18 should not be paying bills in your home. Okay. That's just how I feel. However, I do believe in getting them involved in the family budget. That way they're learning, how money works, how paying bills work, and why, like, for example, why mommy can't spend all her money on V-Bucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. On skins.
On skins, like on like, things like that. Because my son, he used to think money grew on trees. Like, when it came to his computer, he's just like, oh, I need this part. I need this. I need that. The PlayStation's about to come out, the Xbox. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, let's sit down. Let me show you the bills that are coming in, Let me show you what I have coming in, and let me show you what we have going out,
So and was that your first start to teaching him about money? Was that it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I just let them know, because I feel like sometimes parents, we like shield them away from the finances, the family finances, because we're either like ashamed or we just feel like, or you grew up in a family where we're just like, stay in the child's place. I am not like that. I'm very open. I'm like, this is what we have going on. This is what our schedule will allow. This is what the family budget will allow, and this is basically what it is.
Yeah.
And that way, like I said, they're learning at a very early age, like how to manage money. They're learning about bills. They're learning about credit. They're learning about all those things. And that way they're not having to like just think that the school is supposed to teach them that, or they hear it from their friends and then they're learning the wrong thing,
Facts. So, Anna, this is a show about money, entrepreneurship, and investing. So I'm going to need you to give us a good money habit that you have, but also a bad money habit that we can cut off. What you got?
Oh, okay. So a good money, I don't know if I'm ready to cut that.
Put on the spot.
I don't know if I'm ready to cut anything off.
All right. What you got for us?
So one thing I live by is pay yourself first. As soon as I get paid, I'm transferring a minimum of 10% to my savings account. And that's for future me. That's not for the kids. That's not for the bills or anything like that. It's for me, And then, like I said, also, I also believe in like investing in yourself as a single parent. It's like that old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're pouring from an empty cup, how are you supposed to pour into your kids? So you have to take care of yourself first, mentally, financially, so that you're able to take care of everybody else,
Facts.
So that's one thing I live by. That I can let go.
Yeah. We need that yin and the yang. Come on. Keep it transparent with us.
Okay. All right. We're going to keep it. That I can let go, honestly, is my thrift shopping habit. Like I said earlier that I have a thrift shop. I turned my thrift shopping habit into a vintage store on Etsy, but I will still go shopping for merchandise when I already have enough for. Like, I don't need any more merchandise. And a lot of times the merchandise doesn't even make it to the store. It makes it on my wall. I feel like that is one thing I can definitely, get under control.
Okay. I like how you said not cut off, but get under control.
Under control.
So I think for everybody listening, we all have our vices, whatever that may be. And with a budget, that's the cool thing. You don't have to restrict yourself. What you can do is, okay, if we spent $400 thrifting last month, let's make a budget and allow ourselves to spend $300 instead of being like, oh, we only spending $100 on thrifting, or we ain't spending nothing on thrifting this month.
Goals that are not realistic. Yeah, goals that are not realistic. Absolutely.
Exactly. So I think that can help a lot of people with their vices. Like, hey, we know that we spent $400 last month. Let's try $300 and still spend that $300, frivolously. Like spend it.
Absolutely.
But try to stay at $300, and that's an improvement of what you did last month.
Yeah. I think it's like, I know people don't like him very much, but I know I like it when he says every penny has a job, Dave Ramsey, and that's, I live by that. Every penny has a job, I can budget for, I don't know, let's just say fast food. I really love fast food. So I'm going to put that in my budget. $50 a month on fast food, you know?
Same.
Like, you don't have to cut it out of your budget, because the more restrictive you are with your budget, the quicker you're going to fail. Like, the quicker you're not going to stick to it. The first day, you're going to be like, screw this, you know? So you have to give yourself that wiggle room so that you're like, you don't feel like, you know, you're under arrest in your own house.
Wow. We laughing, but that's actually deep though. That's actually deep though, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gonna help a lot of people there. And then we can't have your own FY fly and not ask you our famous final question. So I'm gonna say 2 quotes, and I need you to let me know which one is more accurate in your opinion. All right?
Okay.
All right, bet. So the first one is more money, more problems. Shout out to Biggie. And the second one is money can't buy happiness. Which one do you agree with most?
So I'm going to say more money, more problems, because whoever said money can't buy you happiness is a bull-faced lie. Okay. Money.
Talk to us there.
Money can buy you your time back. Okay. Money can open doors, you know, and both of those things are getting me to spend more time with my kids, which in turn is making me happy. Money is buying me happiness, you know?
Straight like that.
You know, so more money, more problems, more responsibilities, more choices, you know? So yeah, definitely I agree with that part.
Okay. More money, more responsibility, more choices, and more solutions, honestly.
Right.
And that's what that money allows. It brings those solutions. And those solutions, if it should be bringing happiness, right? Because we're not having those problems, or those problems are getting solved.
Right, absolutely.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining the FY Fly podcast, Anna. If you have any final words, any final takeaways, go ahead and also let them know where to reach you.
Absolutely. So you can reach me, like I said, singledoutwealth.com. It is a personal finance website for single moms. Also on Instagram, Singled Out Wealth. Actually on all platforms at Singled. And you can, you know, go to my link in my bio, and I have a housing checklist that you can sign up and get for free.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for dropping these gems. And I know we talked about a lot of great stuff here today, but if you're listening and you can take 1 or 2 gems that we talked about and apply them today and start building that small habit, I promise they will turn into large results over time. So again, thank you so much. And for all our listeners, y'all already know, we need y'all to stay safe, stay invested, and stay FY Fly. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you all for listening to FY Fly, the podcast, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next week for more financial literacy insights with our special guests. Please visit our website, social media platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at FYI Fly Podcast. That's FYI FLI Podcast. See y'all next week and stay fly.